The shriek that broke the silence at 7:15 that Tuesday morning continues to resonate in my nightmares. Halfway through my morning coffee, I noticed a raw, guttural scream, half rage, half effort, emanating from my front yard. I rushed to the window and stood there. There, standing on my roof, was none other than Linda Carver, Pinewood Grove HOA president, crowbar clutched firmly in her grasp, her face contorted into a snarl of rage. Her well-coiffed brunette bob flew wildly as she attacked my satellite dish with frightful accuracy, cursing, "Ugly junk." Not in my neighborhood. Metal screamed as she ripped the dish from my house and tossed it into a trash can she had pulled onto my driveway. The impact sounded like a gunshot through the peaceful suburb. Brushing dust from her hands with self-satisfied smugness, she descended and walked away as if she'd just killed a monster. Stepping into her own house, her phone rang. "Linda Carver speaking," she asserted with professional bravado, only to have her voice stumble on the one at the other end. It was the call that would start to strip away her entire empire. This is my story, a story of small tyranny coming up against science, setting off incandescent questions regarding authority, paranoia, and justice. My name is Lucas Invaro. I'm an aerospace engineer, 38 years old. I came to Pinewood Grove 6 months ago, drawn by its peaceful streets and reasonable houses, a good environment for the isolation my work requires. My work in atmospheric research necessitates precise accuracy. I monitor space weather and climatic changes for NASA. The meal Linda destroyed was not for TV. It was a sophisticated monitoring center, part of a chain of stations pumping real-time data into NASA's system. It collected data on atmospheric changes and electromagnetic activity, critical to forecasting solar storms that might disable satellites and power grids. I had done everything by the book: city permits, local ordinances, and even HOA regulations. The dish was small, tucked away in the back of my roof, angled for a maximum southern exposure of the sky. But Linda had other plans. A week later, the dish was posted. She stormed up to my door, clipboard clutched in her hand, her khakis creased like razors, and her HOA badge glinting like a war medal. "Mr. Navarro, that eyesore has to be removed." I politely produced permits, the installation permit, even a NASA letter. She waved them off. "I don't care about government documents. This is my community. You can't put spy equipment in here without my approval." Her paranoia took me aback. She really thought it was spy gear. Reasoning didn't cut through her thinking that her HOA title granted her sole authority. Then there was a series of continuous harassment. Official-sounding HOA letters began arriving, first claiming the dish had to come down, then issuing fines, then referencing non-existent aesthetic infractions nowhere in the bylaws. She mobilized her board members, likely bullied into acquiescence, and issued emergency meetings addressing my alleged transgressions. Her agents appeared each morning at 8 a.m., sharp, snapping photos of my house, the dish, even attempting to look in. When I accused her of harassment, she smirked. "I'm on public property. I'm documenting violations." I suggested installing screening to minimize the visibility of the dish. She laughed. "Spy equipment. You're reporting us to DC." Her delusions were fixed. I learned that reason had no value. War had broken out. The breaking point was on a Thursday. Having researched my routine, Linda waited until I left for work. Crowbar and ladder in hand, she scaled my roof like a fanatic on a mission. Mr. Thompson, my older neighbor, witnessed it all from his window. She stalked my house like an animal before attacking the dish. Even hurricane-resistant, it had no hope against Linda's rage. She ripped it off and threw it in her trash bin like a trophy. That evening when I returned home, her trash can clogged my driveway. My $10,000 dish was smashed inside. I hardly had a moment to react before my phone exploded with notifications from NASA. Calls, texts, emails, all labeled urgent. At 11:43 a.m., a loss of signal initiated security protocols. The subsequent email made my blood run cold. Security breach, atmospheric research network compromised. Action needed immediately. It ended up a solar storm of rare occurrence struck that morning, and Linda's rampage had brought about a critical data blackout. That blackout threatened astronaut safety and satellite surveillance. I got NASA's emergency number and spoke to Agent Emily Wong. "Mr. Navarro, what's occurred?" she asked. I described. Her tone got cold. "This is not a local conflict. You're talking about sabotage of federal research. Since the dish was financed on public money, it was classed as federal property. Destroying it was more than graffiti. It was a crime, with national repercussions." By morning, two black SUVs pulled into Pinewood Grove. Federal agents spilled out. Wong was in charge. Two agents made notes of the wreckage. A third started taking statements from witnesses. Neighbors peered from behind curtains. Linda emerged from her house, shaken. "I'm the HOA president," she started. "What's happening here?" Wong was calm and businesslike. "We're investigating damage to federal property. You might be able to tell us something." At the word federal, Linda went white. The technician verified deliberate sabotage. Mr. Thompson explained what he witnessed. Next came Mrs. Lee, 2 doors down, delivering the smoking gun. Ring camera video in full HD with sound. Linda's recorded voice on tape, raving about spy junk as she ripped apart the dish, clinched the case. The agents watched it, grim-faced. Wong strolled back to Linda's door, badge exposed. "Mrs. Carver, video shows you destroyed federal research property. This is a big deal." Linda's cocky exterior crumbled. "It wasn't permitted. I'm the HOA president. I police the rules." Wong intercepted. "You interrupted a NASA operation. Your title means nothing here." Her spy gear accusation only further entrenched her delusion. Wong outlined the possible consequences: fines, incarceration, and civil liability. The value of the equipment and lost information was in the millions. The HOA board soon disavowed her. Nobody called Linda back. 3 days after that, she received a cease and desist from NASA and a civil lawsuit for damages. The coup de grace? Linda was forced to oversee the reinstatement of my dish under federal scrutiny. This time, however, the dish was bigger, tamper-proof, and equipped with security sensors. Neighbors glared in silence as Linda stood by, embarrassed. Days later, she quit, giving health reasons as the excuse. But everyone knew the real reason. The federal heat had reduced her to ashes. In the wake, her reign of terror collapsed. The new board revealed decades of her bullying, $2,000 fines for made-up bird feeder infractions, tormenting the Garcias over a flower bed, opening up people's mail, even monitoring neighbors' routines. Wong's unit broadened their investigation. Linda was also accused of federal mail tampering. Dr. Sophia Kim, my project coordinator, subsequently came by and verified the outage had created a perilous data void within our solar storm models. Linda's naivety had international repercussions. Yet strangely, her devastation resulted in advancement. My new plate became the blueprint for a national security enhancement on all NASA-related research facilities, what they dubbed the Pinewood Incident. The lawsuits mounted. Her husband remortgaged their house to pay for lawyers. Her children dropped the scandal. And her house? It remained unsold, buried under shame, just under the brightness of my dish's security lights. Today, Pinewood has changed. Flowers bloom, houses reflect their owners, and fear is no longer there. Mr. Thompson now has a fair, transparent HOA. NASA distributed pamphlets to every house outlining the value of research equipment, with the following conclusion: don't destroy it, call us. Linda became a poster child of HOA abuse thanks to the media. Her name was synonymous with power gone wild. Ironically, said Dr. Kim, the gap in data displayed how important constant surveillance is. Linda's fall had, in some weird way, helped science. Was she a dictator? Crazy? Should I have moved more quickly? Did the HOA empower her? Now my meal softly buzzes, protecting the sky. Science prevails. Ignorance does not. Linda's incarceration is her shame. My triumph. It's Pinewood's liberty. As the sun goes down, it tints my roof gold.